tonight is all about the dogs and the birds. Welcome to Metamora Township High School. I'm Sky Gillespie, joined by Michael Savoy, bringing you the action here. Metamora Redbirds facing up against the Streator Lady Bulldogs here in the Metamora Regional Semis. I'm excited. How are you feeling, Michael?
I'm doing good, yeah. This is the best time of the year for high school basketball, both boys and girls. Late February, early March, it's really just basketball season here in the state of Illinois. I can't be more excited. This should be a fun matchup as well as we get ready to start the Metamora Regional.
Everyone wants to play their best basketball in the month of February if you play high school sports, and now's that time that all the practices have led up to. Now's the time to show up, and this Metamora team, they're playing on their home court. They have a 22-8 record. They're having an incredible season so far, Michael.
Yeah, and they've done pretty well in a very tough Mid-Atlantic conference. You're talking about a conference that's home to very good 3A schools like Metamora, obviously, Washington, Moore, and Limestone. I mean, Dunlap, all these schools. Cannon also in Class 2A is also a very respectable 2A school that plays the Mid-Atlantic conference. So they've been very battle-tested. They've had some very good wins, notably against then number one in 3A in Morin back in January 22nd. And that was a 46-37 win for the Redbirds. So it's fair to say that they're playing their best basketball on this side of the new year.
Out-grind, out-hustle, outwork everyone. That's what the warm-ups for Metamora say. And tonight we'll see if that's the case. They go up against the Streator Lady Bulldogs, who enter with a 3-28 roster. They play their basketball in the Illinois Central 8 Conference.
Yeah, this is a Streator team that hasn't really had a whole lot of success in the girls' basketball side of things, both in the Illinois Central 8 and in Class 3. They're the biggest school in the ice, and yet they haven't really had a lot of success. It's been a tough go of things as of late for Streator, to put things lightly, for their program. They really haven't had a whole lot of success, but under first-year head coach Eric Gwaltney, the Bulldogs look to just keep building for the future. This is a roster that is young in certain aspects, but it's never too late to turn things around, and you're going to see it here tonight what this Streator Bulldog team can bring into this playoffs and into the future.
The Lady Bulldogs quite literally are the underdogs today, and they got nothing to lose, and Metamora has a whole lot to prove. So we'll see if Metamora comes out throwing punches, or if Streator can perhaps surprise some folks, as we're about to have a national anthem.
This IHSA 3A subsectional game is between the visiting Lady Bulldogs of Streator High School and the Redbirds of Metamora. At this time, we ask you to please rise and remove your hands.
The Pass Pub and Grill is your ticket to great food, drinks, and unforgettable memories. Try one of our award-winning salads or take a bite of our delicious wings. Then wash it down with one of our bartenders' signature cocktails. Plus, play the hottest, up-to-date games with ME Gaming and win big. ME Gaming, the premier provider of video gaming. Come get your ticket to a good time, only at the Pass.
When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way.
Wonderful rendition of the national anthem here at Metamora Township High School. So we're about to meet the starting lineups for both teams. But Michael, talk to me about what do you think is going through the mindset of Metamora, knowing that this could perhaps be their last time playing on their home floor this season.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at any top seed in any regional, there's always that added pressure of, hey, like we're the top seeds. We need to, perform to our capability of having that seed. But really for Metamora, I mean, this is a Streator team that's been struggling. They know what they need to do to be successful. I don't think Metamora will struggle tonight, but who knows? I was just at a regional game at Tremont yesterday with Hayworth and Ridgeview, and Hayworth had struggled early against a Ridgeview team that Hayworth had beaten by 20 earlier in the season. So who knows? And Metamora being the #1 seed or really just being in 3A didn't get that regional quarterfinal. So this is their first playoff game. So I wouldn't be shocked if Metamora is struggling really going, but I don't think Metamora is going to struggle really at all tonight. This should be a comfortable win for the Redbirds, willingly saying, but we'll see how this game works out. Streator has nothing to lose, so we'll see how they play as well.
Starters tonight for the Lady Bulldogs: Rhea Huey, Audrey Arambula, Ava Gwaltney, Isabel Gutierrez, and Alexis Thomas. It's dark in here. I was struggling to read my roster right there.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool environment. I mean, it's not as hectic as you may have liked to see in a playoff game, but it's just the regional semifinals. But still, I mean, a dark gym, the red is showing here really nicely in this gym. It really adds to a pretty cool environment.
And just this setting that we're talking about right now, they wouldn't get this if they were playing in a different regional. They have the home court advantage, and it's showing. There's a lot of red in the crowd. The lights are out. The red lights are on. And the Redbirds are looking to fly away with the victory tonight.
Yeah, and, being that they're in Class 3, there's not a whole lot of, well, for the PR era, there are actually quite a bit of Class 3A teams, but for the regional, the 4 teams in the regional, you're talking about Kankakee, Morris, and Streator. That's at least over an hour drive to Streator. That's the closest trip they'd have to make for a regional. Kankakee's 2 hours away, and Morris is probably about the same as Kankakee. So the fact that they don't have to make that drive, they're able to stay on their home court and play on their home court, that's another factor into it too. So that should benefit the Redbirds.
And we have a little bit of a jersey malfunction or what have you. Maybe she just forgot to grab her jersey, but that would be number 5, Bailey Nina. A little bit of an underclassman mistake from Bailey Nina.
Yeah, we had a little bit of confusion as well before we went on air about Metamora's roster, because it's a little different than the piece of paper that their coach had given us before the game and what they have on Max Prep. So maybe this is a game on, game off appearance for the Redbirds.
Exactly, and it is hard to miss Bailey Nina, although her number on Max Preps was 15, I believe. She's wearing number 5 right here, and she's 6'1". Like I said, very hard to miss as Metamora controls the tip, looking to control the game and control the regional right now as they're running. It's Streator with the ball. Streator in the Metamora red that we're used to seeing, so a red on white matchup.
Yeah, you were saying there's a lot of red in the gym, and it's probably because
exactly.
Both these teams are
there
red.
You go.
And Streator, their fans do travel very well, so.
Streator in a 2-3 zone right here, and I've seen zone. I've watched some film on this Metamora team. This is my first time seeing them in person, but they're not afraid to let the 3 fly as Wagoneer comes up empty there, but they get the rebound, and that's probably the hardest part about playing a zone is boxing out and getting boards. Well, 3-pointer falls right there from Sell.
Well, the hardest part about playing a zone is the fact that you're letting your opponent know that you're willing to let them shoot the 3, and sometimes these 3-point shots, you move the ball well in the zone, really do pay off.
Great ball movement right there. Alexis Thomas, the 5'10" sophomore, gets the bucket to fall, and early 3-2 lead for Metamora, but it's going to be interesting seeing this zone action because Metamora is an incredible shooting team. They really work in out well between Nina as Nina dishes it back out to Sell in a quick 6 points for Sell as we have a turnover right there. It looked like the Lady Bulldogs stepped on the line. In a game like this, when you have to play perfect, that's not a great start.
No, but, having a girl like Nina down low, having her be so tall, that's more times than not she's going to make that inbounds play.
Bailey Nina, 6'1", plays in the heart of Illinois for her AAU. A lot of local talent like Avery Tibbs, just to name one. A lot of local talent here in the Middle Illini play in the heart of Illinois for their summer ball. Driving to the left is Wagoner, seeking contact. And she'll get to the foul. Junie Wagoner, the 5'4" junior.
Yeah, Metamora is really, on their offense, they're really just trying to attack the basket. Their offense runs from attacking the basket. Like you said, Sky, they like to let the three-pointer fly, but if you're going to attack the basket against any defense, you would think the defense collapses, and that's what allows the three-point shooters to be so wide open. And Metamora has not been afraid to let the three-pointer fly.
They really like to work in and out. I mean, they'll shoot it with little to no space. They're not shy, but they like to get it into Nina and then let her work or let her distribute as Wagoner goes 0 for 2. But speak of Bailey Nina, she's right there and gets the rebound. Great jump stop, no good right there from Coster, but offensive rebounds so far belong to the Redbirds.
Yeah, right now, Shooter just looks like they're being outworked right now by Metamora.
And that's what I talked about in the open on the back of their warm-ups. Outwork everyone is what it said. Nina dishes it out to Coster. Coster in the corner to Sell using a screen. You don't see a ton of screening the zone, but it's really smart, and the teams that do it very well. And a deep three contested, no good right there from Coster, but another offensive rebound. And drawing the foul is Addie Wooden, the senior leader for this Redbirds team.
Yeah, Streator it just looks like they're not putting bodies on anyone. They're just really just letting the Redbirds really control on the Redbirds side of the court, or offensive side of the court.
This Redbirds team is a lot longer, a lot taller than Streator as well, so you're really going to have to work hard, going to box out. And so far, they haven't done a great job of that, but Metamora are not doing a great job of shooting free throws either. 0 for 3 to start. There you go, 1 for 4 right now, and Wooden gets into the scoring column. Streator breaking the pressure, driving. A little long on the layup right there from Gwaltney. And Metamora going up. Nina long on the layup. Offensive rebound. Wooden dishes it down low to Sell. The right hook off the backboard and in. Tessa Sell has 8 points to start this game.
Nice move there by Sell. She's able to get her defender a little bit off balance and able to get the points, and there's another Metamora turnover.
Gwaltney turns it over right there, and Metamora looking to keep their foot on the gas pedal. Nina getting double, dishes it out. 4-3, Wagoner long, rebounded by Coster. And I think we're going to slow things down. No, Wooden's just going to keep going and take it herself. Good hands right there. And a timeout called right there from head coach Eric Gwaltney. This is his first year as coach of the Lady Bulldogs, and it looks like it was just a substitution timeout, or perhaps not a timeout at all. Looks like an injury timeout. Checking out of the game was Isabel Gutierrez. She looks banged up, holding her right knee.
Looks like a 1-2-2 zone press for the Redbirds.
And they're moving the ball well. The ball hasn't touched the ground on that whole possession, it seems like. And Ava Gwaltney, let's talk about her. On Thursday night, she got 1,000 career points, the senior. And that is her 219th career three-pointer made.
Yeah, she's got a nice shooting stroke. There's a nice possession defensively from Streator, but nearly turned the ball over there. And, I mean, talking about Gwaltney, 21 points also on her senior night against East Peoria. That was a 63-46 loss for Streator, but she's a pretty good basketball player, to say the least. She can score, and I believe that's her dad as a coach for Streator, and he's got to be proud of her daughter, or his daughter.
The funny part right there is that Gwaltney, 657 of her career points. She's just over 1,000, as it's going to be an offensive foul. 657 of her career points are from the three-point line, and the bucket to give her 1,000 points was a layup. So she decided to mix things up a little bit there.
Yeah, the irony there. She's known as a three-point shooter, and yet her 1,000th career point was a layup. So just goes to show that, you know, she doesn't just shoot threes, although that, you know, if you ever ask someone about her, they might just say, oh, she's a great three-point shooter.
Jalen Ledbetter checks into the game for the Redbirds. Nina with the left. Beautiful move, great footwork, and an even better finish. Bailey Nina's in the scoring call.
Nina's going to be a pretty good piece for the Metamora in this ballgame especially, but probably throughout this postseason. She's going to be the tallest girl on the court more times than not.
Really good hands right there, and smart by Gwaltney not to pick it up and be doubled in the corner. They'll reset and inbound it out of bounds.
Metamora not afraid to put some pressure on the Streator Bulldog team. This Streator team really doesn't have a whole lot of ball handlers, so Metamora trying to take advantage of that. As Gwaltney's three is a little short. She's a good three-point shooter, as we've said, Kai, but I think there's some looks that probably are more better off than some of the looks she's been trying to shoot so far.
Abby Peterson, number 33, 5'11" junior for Metamora, checks into the ball game. And it was interesting, we see that Metamora has been using that 1-2-2 press, but defending out of that baseline, they were in man-to-man defense. They play a variety of defenses and play it very well, but we have a three-pointer right there, knocked in. Sell is playing her heart out. 11 points, she's the first double-figure scorer so far. Streator looks to, good shot right there from Gwaltney against the pressure. Nina and Peterson in the game together. That is really scary for the defense to handle. You have 6'1" and 5'11".
Yeah, it's definitely a positive for this Metamora team going forward, the fact that you have this height, because like when it comes to Streator, they don't have the height, and you know, there's certainly going to be teams that are going to be playing down the line. If they do advance, they don't have the height.
And the hot hand remains. Sell has 14. She's hit 4 three-point shots in the first quarter, and we're just under 3 minutes left. Nina gets the ball, dribbles it with her left. Coster. Excuse me, that's Wooden. Back to Wooden. Wooden drives to her left, gives it to Nina. And will Sell hit another one? No good, her first miss. But Ledbetter gets the rebound. But the ball will go in the favor of the Lady Bulldogs. 17-5. Metamora leads, and we have a 30-second timeout right here from Coach Gwaltney.
Yeah, Eric Gwaltney, the head coach for the Streator Bulldogs, he has not really liked what he's seen so far from his Bulldogs. I think part of it really is just effort. I mean, there's nothing really that Metamora is doing more than just shooting the ball and making the baskets, but that's just one part of it. The other part of it is when that shot goes up, who's putting a body on somebody, and right now Streator's really struggling with that. I don't know if you've kept track of rebounds. I haven't, but you just have the feeling, even if you didn't keep track of it, that Streator's just getting like manhandled on the glass so far.
And big props to Tessa Sell. She is lighting it up. I mean, this hot shooting from Tessa Sell, it's brought to you by Michael's Italian Feast in East Peoria, Washington, Germantown Hills, and Eureka. You're not the owner of that, Michael.
Some say I am, some say I'm not.
We'll see how the Lady Bulldogs come out of that 30-second timeout. It's into the hands of Arambula. It's now in the corner. Back to Gwaltney, can't give her space, but it doesn't matter when you have the 6'1" length of Nina. She gets the block, and the Redbirds are moving it up the floor quickly.
It's really hard to guard a team like Streator if Gwaltney's the only one really taking the shots. You got to move the ball more on their offensive side.
Gwaltney just the second Lady Bulldog, as she has the near steal right there. Good tip pass. She's the second Lady Bulldog in program history to eclipse the 1,000-point mark. So very good career from Gwaltney. She's got to step up along with the other Lady Bulldogs to try to cut into this lead and stop this potent Redbirds offense. Using the screen is Wooden, driving to her left. Nina has the ball. We've seen her mostly on the inside, but when you have Peterson's more of a true big. Nina can do a little bit of everything, as they're going to call a hand check foul right there on Gutierrez.
Yeah, this Metamora team, they're playing the zone very well, and they have the players that play the zone very well. You probably have to believe that Streator's really only playing the zone because they believe they don't really match up too well man-to-man against the Redbirds. So when you look at it from a matchup standpoint, this really is not a great matchup for Streator, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to lose this game, but just makes it tough.
Patty Wooden at the line. Went 1 for 2 the first time. Hits this free throw, and I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but last year, 2-30 on the season for Streator Lady Bulldogs. They have 3 wins on this season, so, I mean, improvement is improvement. They are getting better. And we'll see, this is Gwaltney's first year as coach. See how he improves the team along the years. And I mean, with Coach Michaela Hurst of Metamora, she didn't come in and instantly have success either. But now she's put up a great team, improvement every year so far. And Rome wasn't built in a day, Michael. It takes time to build a program.
No, I've certainly seen my fair share of basketball teams that have gone through the struggle bus as there's a turnover by the Redbirds. And, you know, Streator's down in this ball game, and I'm not going to sit here and say they're not going to win this game, but, you know, just judging off by their season record and common opponents, and really just the record versus Metamora's, they don't have a great chance, but, you know, who knows?
Ball is turned over from Arambula, and Ledbetter cannot catch iron, and that's not what you want to see if you're Metamora. You miss a layup, but also get a foul from 90 feet away from the basket.
Yeah, it's just one of those frustration fouls that, you know, you don't have to get. It's just one of those things that once you miss, you really want to get that other chance to get the ball and score again, but sometimes it doesn't work out.
Good offense right there from Streator. They got it into the middle, and that's how you break a zone. Great job right there. Ball's in the hands of Gwaltney. Tries to feed down low to Thomas. Bodies are flying. Looks like there's going to be a jump ball. Yes, there is. Possession favors Streator. They'll have another chance. There's 34.2 seconds left here in the first quarter of the Metamora Regional Semis.
There are other players on this Streator team like Gutierrez that scored 11 points, and Thomas, who is a force down low for this Streator team that scored 9 points and 7 rebounds. Both performances came in that senior night game against East Peoria, so it's not like Gwaltney's the only one that can score, but she is the leading scorer on this Bulldogs team. Really, if you stop Gwaltney, it's going to be pretty easy to stop this Streator team.
And Alexis Thomas, 5'10", she's bigger than a lot of opponents she faces as. Great second chance scoring right there from Gwaltney. She comes up empty, but she's got 5 now. But as I was saying, Alexis Thomas usually outsizes her opponents, but she's smaller than both Peterson and Nina in this matchup as there's 7.9 seconds left. Metamora will likely hold for one and see who takes the final shot. It's going to be in the hands of Peterson. Nope, it's tipped out of bounds, and we'll do it again, but from the baseline.
Yeah, Streator, if they can get out of this with the last points scored in the quarter and the good defense possession here with 6.4 left, who knows? The Streator team, like we said, Sky, has nothing to lose with this game. They have no expectation of even winning the semifinal of this regional, let alone the championship, so who knows?
Lob to Nina, tips it around, somehow gets it back and puts it in as the first quarter clock expires. Metamora with a dominating first quarter, 21-7. They triple the opponent's scoring so far. Really good first quarter, and they came out with the energy.
When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way.
What sets Snyder Village apart from other retirement living options? With a campus of over 40 acres, Snyder Village is a life plan community,
offering several levels of care at one convenient location.
From independent living to assisted living to skilled nursing, you're sure to find what you're looking for. Snyder Village is a faith-based community, providing for the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of others. As a nonprofit organization, Snyder Village offers a local touch.
Come see why people call Snyder Village home. Visit SnyderVillage.com.
Really good first quarter of action there right now. It's 21-7 in favor of Metamora. Wooden with the ball. Really good cut right there across the paint from Nina, and Nina's shown she's good with her right and left hand. Sell tried to get the offensive rebound put back, but no good, and jump ball's going to be in favor of Streator. And here's this 1-2-2 full court press into the hands of Mahan. One of 2 Mahans, that is Adelaide, which I believe is also the name of a large city in Australia, Adelaide. Good pump fake right there. Driving was Wagoner. Wooden off the glass, no good, but guess who? Nina gets the board. She's triple teamed, dishes it back out to Wooden. Wagner again, no good. Nina is a walking double-double. She could have, by the end of this game, over 20 rebounds, Michael.
Yeah, she's been a menace on the glass so far for Metamora, but it really is more so Streator not being able to box out, and really it just comes down to willpower.
Mahan with the turnover. Redbirds head up, not looking to slow down. Coster has the ball into the hands of Sell, who has 14, dominated the first quarter. Wooden, the senior leader, loves distributing the ball. It's her favorite part of playing that point guard position. She loves to get others involved, but great job right there, forcing the turnover as we have a deep mid-range 2 right there, no good from Gwaltney. And Sell, the shooter, dishes it out to Coster. And nearly back-to-back turnovers. Wagner trying to hit that one, and she will. Junie Wagner, the junior, gets in the scoring column.
Her first field goal of the ball game after going 0 for 2 from the line for her only shots.
Another double team and another turnover right there from Adelaide Mahan. Bulldogs got to get back, and they won't as Coster gets in the scoring column, and a quick timeout again from Coach Gwaltney.
Yeah, he's just not liking what he's seeing out of his Bulldogs. I think, like we said before, Sky, it's nothing that they're doing that isn't bad. It's just really just the effort part of it just isn't necessarily the greatest right now for Streator. Nothing to lose. They just need to focus and just put more effort onto the table. They can really compete in this ballgame if they do that.
Would like to thank Haven Hills. Discover your home away from home at Haven Hills Campground with camping yurts, RV slips, and modern cabins. They offer 155 acres to experience all summer long. Splash in their gorgeous pool, fish in peaceful ponds, or play the 3-hole golf course. Everything is included. Make unforgettable family memories in nature's embrace. Book your vacation or seasonal stay at havenhillscampground.com. It's crazy to think the weather's finally getting better. It's near that season where you can go out and go fishing, go camping, as we have a turnover right there. That's Izzy Mahan with the turnover. So 3 straight turnovers from the Mahan family.
Yeah, the weather's been fantastic. I can't remember a time in this early February where it's been this warm out.
Wagner looks for another one, can't get it to go. Coster with the rebound, dishes it back out to Wagner, who's not afraid to let it fly. None of these Redbirds are. The high-low, the big-to-big action now in the corner for Coster, no good. And great hustle right there from Wagner. Good looks from Metamora, but Streator with a great stop.
Yeah, these Redbirds three-pointers aren't just three-pointers they're walking down the court with. They're really running through their offense through the zone. They're getting the ball in the middle, collapsing the defense, and able to let their shooters get open looks at the 3.
Streator with the ball using the screen, and they're going to call a travel right there on Izzy Mahan, the junior. The Streator Lady Bulldogs team on an 11-game losing streak. They were 2-30 last year, 1-31 the year before, so the last 3 years they've improved, and we'll see how the rest of this game goes, and perhaps if it doesn't go their way, we'll see how they can improve next year, as there's a really good Euro step, but no good. Great defense, and they're going to call a foul on Metamora. Could have been a travel, but it looks like the push is what led to the walk, so they're going to call the foul.
Yeah, hopefully this Streator Bulldogs team can obviously improve. They've improved just ever so slightly the past few years. A win better each year that for the past 3 years, and hopefully the senior class led by Guani can leave a lasting impact on this program to let it build for the future.
In the hands of Gutierrez, she dishes it back out to Huey. Gwaltney, the star of this team, going around the horn, but no good on the layup attempt. In the hands of Nina, dishes it down to Peterson. Peterson, no good, and although Peterson and Nina didn't start together, they played the majority of this game together, as Nina fires that into the other half. A little bit too strong right there.
And speaking about strong with Nina, she just grabbed the ball away from Streator player, and man, that's that just goes to show. I mean, I'm going to keep saying it. It just really comes down to effort. Metamora really wants this game, and they're the 1 seed in this regional. They're not playing like it. They're playing like they want something to prove.
Nina with the ball, dishes it down to the opposite post and in right there from Leah Coster. I mean, I love the rebounding. I love the scoring, but the court vision and the passing from Nina might be what stood out to me the most so far.
Yeah, she's been playing very well on multiple facets of the game so far.
Gwaltney no good for 3. Coster up and running, guarded by Gwaltney. Gwaltney blocks it, but before that fouls. Heading to the line is Coster.
Yeah, Metamora, it's not like they're not playing down to the competition at all. That's always kind of the fear with the 1 seeds in regionals, is they'll normally play teams that are the lowest seeds in their regional. Sometimes you may think that because they'll assume in their heads, hey, we can beat this team easily, that they play like it. They play like they're down to the competition. But Metamora really just has played like they have something to prove. Even though and when you think about it, they really don't have anything to prove.
They don't, and I was really curious how this Metamora team would bounce back. Their last game, they're coming off a 19-point loss against Dunlap. They were on a 6-game winning streak prior to that, and Dunlap a pretty solid team.
Yeah, that regional title game at Dunlap tomorrow night, we're going to bring to you on Clutch Sports Media, Dunlap and Washington. That's going to be a fun matchup.
Washington a powerhouse, but Dunlap just defeated Metamora by 19. They're no slouches themselves. Really good, strong screen, from Thomas, and a foot was on the line. They're going to call it a 2 right there from Gwaltney.
Yeah, that was good offense there from Streator. Thomas, although, Scott, you said she's a little bit smaller than her contemporaries down low, she's very strong, and that was a very strong screen that let a wide open 3-pointer from Gwaltney, and obviously she doesn't miss many of those.
Ledbetter dishes to Peterson. Peterson down low to Wagoner. It's going to be off the hands of the Lady Bulldogs, and we'll do it again. We saw last time Metamora did a box set, and they just lobbed it down low to one of their bigger post players. See if they try to do that again. They will. They feed it to Peterson. Peterson, no good. Rebounded by Huey. Huey up and going, not waiting for her teammates. She's trying to take a 1-on-4 break, but slows things down. And Ledbetter on the ground with Gwaltney. A jump ball favors Metamora.
Yeah, although the score shows that Metamora is pulled away from this ballgame, the Redbirds have not really let off the gas right here, both on the offensive defensive end. It just goes to show really just how good of a team this Redbirds team is.
Metamora coached by Michaela Hurst. They were 17-15 last year. They're 22-8 entering this game, and the year before that were 12-20. So Michaela Hurst doing a great job of improving this team, and that's what I'm hoping to see out of Eric Gwaltney as he continues coaching his team. Just steady improvements.
Streator's going to get there. Eventually it's going to happen. They play in a very tough Illinois Central A conference. They're actually the biggest school in that conference. They're the only 3A school in that conference. It's a conference comprised of mostly 2A schools, but they're pretty good 2A schools. I mean, we're talking about Mantino, Herscher, schools that are Piatone, usually schools that are traditionally pretty good girls basketball programs, especially schools like Wilmington and Mantino having very good years this year. So it's a very tough girls basketball conference. Although they're the biggest school, they'll be fine.
Ella Jones was called for the travel there. She came off the bench for Metamora. We also have Caitlin Hand, the 5'11" senior, in the game for Metamora. So getting some more people involved. Ella Seckler as well. That's too much space for Gwaltney. Can't make him pay, but a really good rebound from Huey as she puts it in for 2.
Yeah, nice rebound there by Huey. That's really the only time so far in this game that Streator not has gone an offensive rebound. They've gone a couple so far, but really has capitalized on a second chance opportunity.
Great move right there from Hand, but no good at the free throw line jumper. Seems like it might be like the 4th or 5th jump ball we've seen so far. Everyone's trying to grab the ball tonight.
Yeah, and it could be more, but really credit the Metamora when they do get their hands on a basketball that Streator already has. They don't sometimes they don't just wait for the jump ball. They'll rip it out of their hands.
Exactly. It's a matter of who wants it more, and that's the second time that Streator's ran that set, and the second time it's led to a jumper from Gwaltney. The double screen, it's causing some fits for the Redbirds, and Gwaltney gets another 3. Foul is called right there, and we're going to inbound it from the baseline. Gonna sound like a broken record, but look for it to go down low in the post, likely to Caitlin Hand. No good. And there's been a lot of fouls in the last part of this half.
It's kind of a side effect of having it be so tense and aggressive out there, even though Metamora's got this big lead. I mean, when a shot goes up, bodies are going to the basket, and really that's where most of the fouls have come from, really just girls fighting for the ball.
Potential double dribble not called. Gwaltney comes off the triple screen, dishes it down to Thomas. Thomas uses her strength. No good on 2 attempts, and good looks. Streator's got to get back, though.
Yeah, Metamora, when they get the ball off a missed shot, they're looking to push the pace, looking to catch Streator by them and trying to outrun the Bulldogs, too.
And Metamora is a really deep team, so it's no wonder that they're up and running, because there's always somebody that can come off the bench and help them out if they do get tired. This Streator team, not as deep at all.
Seckler was just cutting to the basket there. That was good defense by the Bulldogs, but Metamora would have found her if they just passed the ball just a second earlier. Had her wide open in the middle of that zone, but they had waited just a second too late where Thomas was able to deflect the pass.
Nina and Coster check back in the game. Wide open, nobody near her. Bailey Nina with the bucket. Haven't mentioned this yet, but Bailey Nina, sophomore, already has a D1 offer. She's been offered by Bellarmine.
Yeah, that usually means down the line she's going to have plenty more to choose from if she's already getting looks from the highest level of college basketball as a sophomore.
10 seconds left. Dishes out to Sell. Sell back to Nina. Sell for 3. No good. Offensive rebound from Wooden, blocked by Thomas, and Hand puts it up and that's a Sell with the offensive rebound, puts it up and puts it in. She has 16. What an exclamation point to a great performance by Sell and an even better performance by her Metamora Redbirds team.
Well, you know what they say about, well, one of the cliches is that you can't buy a bucket. She can buy all the buckets she can get, and that's more of a play on words with sell and buy if you didn't understand that one, Sky. So good quarter for her and good quarter for the Redbirds.
I certainly understood it. I mean, I'm just really impressed by Metamora. Like I said, I've watched a lot of film. I've caught some of their replayed games, but this is my first time watching them in person. And they're going up against Streator, who's 3-28, 0-14 in conference. But they're coming out and playing like they're going up against one of the best teams. They play with that same energy each and every night.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm not exactly sure what's going on in center court. It looks important.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and watch it, and then we'll let you know what happens. We'll take a quick break. 36-14, Metamora leads.
The Pass Pub and Grill is your ticket to great food, drinks, and unforgettable memories. Try one of our award-winning salads or take a bite of our delicious wings. Then wash it down with one of our bartenders' signature cocktails. Plus, play the hottest, up-to-date games with ME Gaming and win big. ME Gaming, the premier provider of video gaming. Come get your ticket to a good time, only at the Pass.
When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way. When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way.
What sets Snyder Village apart from other retirement living options? With a campus of over 40 acres, Snyder Village is a life plan community,
offering several levels of care at one convenient location.
From independent living to assisted living to skilled nursing, you're sure to find what you're looking for. Snyder Village is a faith-based community, providing for the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of others. As a nonprofit organization, Snyder Village offers a local touch.
Come see why people call Snyder Village home. Visit SnyderVillage.com.
Welcome back, Metamora playing on their home floor and acting like it. They've only lost 2 games at home this season. The home court advantage paying dividends as they're up 36-24. I'm Sky Gillespie, joined by Michael Savoy, bringing you the action here on Clutch Sports Media. What has stood out to you the most from this game so far, Michael?
Really just Metamora's effort, comparing to Streator's effort. I mean, like we said, Sky, Metamora really doesn't have a whole lot to lose, or excuse me, Streator doesn't have a whole lot to lose, but yet they're getting manhandled by a team that honestly is, you would think maybe a 1 seed, maybe, they play down to the competition a little bit. It's an easy win no matter what, and, people can say what they want to say, but Metamora is playing like they got something to prove, and really they've proved a whole lot so far in the first quarter. If they can play like this for the entire regional and even going forward into the sectionals or super sectionals, however far they make it, they can be a very scary team in the playoffs.
And it doesn't get any easier from here. If you can escape with a regional title on your home floor, you know how hard it is to succeed in this 3A. So it's good to see that they're coming out and playing their brand of basketball, but I think what's going to help them out a ton is that I'm sure they're going to, but they don't even need to play their starters in the second half. They're going to be well rested heading into later games in this tournament, and I think that's going to help them out a ton.
Yeah, normally teams like to play their starters opening up in the third quarter. Some teams don't, but I think majority of the time, even if you have a big lead, going into halftime, they'll usually play them in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, it depends what the score is by them, but I'd expect they play a little bit more, but I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't. But at the same time, it is a Streator Bulldog team that does have some talent, so who knows? I'm not saying if they play the reserves, they're going to lose the game, but you like Streator's chances more for the players that don't have as much experience versus players that do. But speaking of this Streator team, like we said, Sky, they've struggled so far this season. It's really been a struggle for a little bit now for the Bulldogs, but it looks like things have slowly but surely have turned around a little bit just by wins. 3 wins this year, 2 wins last year. So, you like to think that is some sign of improvement. So this year, Bulldog team is getting a little bit better. It's going to be losing a senior here this season in Gwaltney that's a prolific scorer, but you like their chances going forward. They're the biggest school in their conference, which you like to think helps them out a little bit. So who knows, maybe in a couple years this Bulldogs team will be back to where they'd like to be. And, they have not just Gwaltney on their team. Alexis Thomas, we've talked about her. She's only a sophomore, so you'd like to think that she's going to be a big piece of this Bulldogs team going forward as well.
And they are a very young team on paper, the Streator Lady Bulldogs team is, but they are losing 2 starters next year. But the biggest thing for Streator, they haven't won a conference game since the 2021-2022 season, so that's something they're going to look to do next year. Not only improve, but try to get that first conference win in a few years.
Yeah, they always say celebrate your wins no matter how you get them. Doesn't matter if it's, the penultimate game, the state championship game, or just a conference game that doesn't have a whole lot of meaning maybe, or even just a non-conference game. It doesn't matter. The ones you get, there are the ones you get, so you celebrate your wins, and that's how you build your culture. That's how you build your program. So the wins are going to be coming for this Bulldogs team. If you go by records the past couple of years, Streator has gone better. So this Bulldogs team, while they're not out of the regionals yet, they're not looking a whole lot like they are going to win this ball game. Who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe they turn the tables, but really just looking forward to the future for this Bulldogs team.
I am impressed with how Streator did end that half. They looked a lot better offensively. They were getting stronger with the ball. They even had an offensive rebound, so it looks like Coach got into them a little bit, showing them that they need to want it more, and I loved the way that Streator ended that first half.
Yeah, the second quarter was definitely a lot better than the first quarter. The second quarter, they've gone through a little bit more offensive sets, and they were able to get Gwaltney more open three-pointers. The first quarter was more so Gwaltney trying to create on her own, and it's really hard to create on your own when you play a team like Metamora, who is not only good offensively, but really good defensively as well. So Streator is looking a little bit better. Hopefully they can carry some of that momentum into the second half and make things more interesting here in Metamora.
Now let's talk a little bit about Metamora. We talked about the youth with Streator, as we'll get back into that. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Metamora's youth.
The Pass Pub and Grill is your ticket to great food, drinks, and unforgettable memories. Try one of our award-winning salads or take a bite of our delicious wings. Then wash it down with one of our bartenders' signature cocktails. Plus, play the hottest, up-to-date games with ME Gaming and win big. ME Gaming, the premier provider of video gaming. Come get your ticket to a good time, only at the Pass.
When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way. When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way.
What sets Snyder Village apart from other retirement living options? With a campus of over 40 acres, Snyder Village is a life plan community, offering several levels of care at one convenient location. From independent living to assisted living to skilled nursing, you're sure to find what you're looking for. Snyder Village is a faith-based community, providing for the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of others. As a nonprofit organization, Snyder Village offers a local touch. Come see why people call Snyder Village home. Visit snydervillage.com.
Welcome back, fans. About to bring you the second half action here. 36-14 Metamora leads, but we were alluding to it briefly before we went towards that break. Metamora only has 3 seniors on this whole roster, I believe, so next year you have Morton graduating some stars. You have Washington graduating nearly their entire starting lineup. The Mid-Illini Conference might run through Metamora looking towards the future.
Well, it'll for sure become more interesting to see how it all shapes out. There's no more top dog in the Mid-Illini as of next year, although Dunlap has certainly made a case for the top dog as well. So Metamora will be on the conversation as well.
Bailey Nina with a beautiful step through right there, and they're going to stick to their full court zone. And that's not where you want to pick up the ball. Smart timeout right there from Eric Gwaltney.
Call a full timeout this time.
So 38-14, just under 20 seconds played into this quarter. I want to mention Snyder Village, the retirement home and assisted living village of Metamora, as well as the Pass Pub and Grill located in Bloomington. I had to drive through Bloomington to get here as a native of Leroy, Illinois, who suffered a tough loss. You got to watch them firsthand yesterday, Michael. I was watching your live tweets and reacting to them very, very sadly.
Yeah, Leroy's got a great fan base. All those HOIC schools, as you may know, Sky, obviously, they're all pretty much the same school. You can think about pretty much same enrollment, same type of sports teams. I mean, there's not really a bad athletically HOIC team. Leroy's great. Leroy's boys basketball team has been fantastic. Yeah. I was there for the girls game, obviously. The girls team is pretty good as well, but obviously a tough loss for the Panthers as they went down to the Turks. And speaking of HOIC regionals, Tremont and Hayward for girls regional title tomorrow as well, so that should be fun.
Ball's in the hands of Ava Gwaltney, and we've seen so far the full court zone goes back to a man-to-man defense, and that's what this Metamora team has done all season, as we nearly have a turnover right there from Gutierrez. Looked like she might have walked, but I guess ball don't lie. It'll go in the hands of Metamora. 38-14 here. Still in the 2-3 are the Bulldogs. Wagner has the ball, dishes it out to Coster. Coster to Wooden at the top of the key, and very deep, might have been NBA range. No good right there from Coster. And it's the story of the game so far, offensive rebound.
Yeah, and the Redbirds really just crashing the glass. They really just haven't had a whole lot of, really Streator just having a whole lot of time, a whole lot of success on the defensive side of the rebounds.
For those curious, Normal West is dominating right now. Urbana 33-4. 33-4 in their regional game, so very interesting to see. A lot of regional action going on around Illinois right now, especially in the central Illinois area.
Next week is going to be fantastic as well with the boys, too.
Galtney no good. Almost banked it in, however. Wagner with the rebound and will push it up. Moline leads 28-10 over Normal Community. Normal Community has been playing really good basketball as of late, so that's a kind of a surprising score to me. Thought that game would be a little bit more competitive, but a lot of ball game left there. That ball is tipped. Waltney will get it back. No harm, no foul. Gutierrez has the ball, and this Metamora team forcing the Bulldogs to catch the ball deep. They can't get close to the basket. What I want to see from Streator is play a little bit more physical. I don't know if have they been to the free throw line yet?
Streator? No. I do not have them down for any free throw shots, and it's just been tough for Streator. It just looks like they're tired, and you got to credit that to Metamora's defense. They're really just not letting them have any breathing room. They have to work, Streator does, to get to the basket. It's not just you're getting a free ride to the basket. They got to work for it, and that's making them tired.
Waltney does get a good look right there. She's been long on her last 2 attempts. Coster rebounds it. Looking to go coast to coast, will not dish it out to Sell. Instead, get a good look from Nina. No good. But Nina gets another offensive rebound. But Waltney with the good hands somehow remains in the favor of the Redbirds. Sell looking for her first 3 of the second half. Can't get it. Another jump ball, this time in favor of the Lady Bulldogs.
Yeah, Streator is lucky to get out of that with the jump ball. It looked like you could have gone away with just a rip and a steal from Metamora that probably would have led to a basket. And that ball is tipped out of bounds by Metamora. It'll still remain Streator basketball. And like you said, Sky, Streator just looks tired, and they're not very deep on their roster. They're playing a lot of the same girls, and Metamora is really making it tough on the defensive end.
Nina with the steal, dishes it down to Coster, and another jump ball. This time will go to Metamora. Major props to this team. It's been an interesting season. I mean, Coach Michaela Hurst welcomed her son Bennett in December, so a lot of times as Nina gets the easy bucket, a lot of times this season it's been coaching by committee as other people have had to step up, but Bennett welcomed into this beautiful world. Bennett Hurst, future basketball star perhaps, Coach Michaela Hurst, she played her college ball at North Central College, and she's a East Peoria grad, so she knows Mid-Illini basketball very well.
And what a season it's been for Metamora. And we were talking about, you said, Sky, before with when Hurst took over the program versus now, and they were 12-20, 3-11 in the Mid-Illini in their first year in 2023. 17-15, 6-8 in Mid-Illini in 2024. Then this year in 2025, 2026, they're 22-8, 10-4 in the Mid-Illini. So they've just gotten better every single year, and this is the reason why.
Wagner gets the steal, goes up with the left, is short, and would have been a double dribble, but instead they call a foul. And Wagner just missed, Wagner just missed the bunny. Gets the good steal, but got to finish.
Streator is actually moving the ball decently well against Metamora's press for the majority of the game. They just try to stick it in the middle, trying to force it there. Not a smart decision there.
And Bailey Nina with the basket. Good pass right there from Wagner. I don't know if our crowd might pick that up, but Bailey was screaming for the ball, and great job right there from the junior, Junie Wagner, listening, getting an easy assist. Gutierrez had a wide open three, but instead they'll kick it to their sharpshooter. Ava Gwaltney hits another.
Yeah, Gwaltney's not afraid to let it fly too. You were just talking about Metamora not being afraid to let it fly as a team. Gwaltney's not afraid to shoot it. And really, she's just trying to create for herself. She's trying to will her team back in the game.
Coster, the ball touches every part of the rim, but won't fall, and Nina just steals the ball back and will head to the line. Who wants it more?
That is not the first time she's done that too. She's done that probably a handful of times. She's been a menace so far for Metamora. She's gonna keep the Streator Bulldogs up at night, that's for sure.
Do you want to talk a little history, Michael?
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna start with Metamora. So Metamora, they were originally founded as Hanover. That was their name. Their settlers were from the New England area. It was named after Hanover, New Hampshire, one of the East Coast states. New Hampshire, New England, somewhere over there. But in 1845 was changed to Metamora. And for my Pluto fans out there, Clyde Tombaugh, who passed away in 1997, he's from Streator. He's an astronomer who discovered Pluto.
Wow.
A lot of people upset that Pluto is no longer one of the planets, and I don't know. I miss the days when Pluto was a planet.
I'm sure there are still people who consider Pluto a planet, and I'm sure there's still people that can consider Cell a very good three-point shooter. She's been on fire.
Cell has proven that she can do more than that, though. She's got a few offensive rebounds, and she's just playing an incredible game, but it's no surprise as Gutierrez puts up the three and lets it fall. 48-19. I mean, it's not looking like Streator can make a comeback. They would need a lot of things to fall their way, such as Pluto being renamed a planet, but they are playing a lot better basketball here.
On the offensive end, for sure, if they're able to break the press without turning the ball over and they're able to shoot the ball, they're able to get good looks and actually score, but it's really just been a matter of them breaking Metamora's press. They've done a good job initially passing around the arc, or not around the arc, excuse me, from one end of the court to the other, but it's when they try to force the ball in the middle is when they turn the ball over, so Metamora is trying to close off that middle.
And as I was saying, it's no surprise that Cell putting up good numbers. She was a part of the 2025 Ottawa Holiday All-Tournament team, as well as Bailey Nina and Addie Wooden. Ledbetter with the steal, dishes it to Wagner. Will try to get this one to go, and no good, not enough English. Gwaltney gets fouled, and the ball rolls over by our table over here.
I will say this about Streator. I really like your uniforms. I like I don't think light blue is necessarily a color of theirs, but I think it's more so like the Lady Volunteers from Tennessee. They incorporate that light blue. I think that's what Streator's trying to pull off. I could be wrong, but
nice
I really
touch.
like their uniforms.
Very nice touch, clean uniforms. I believe that's a Air Jordan sponsor as well on their jerseys. Driving to her left is Arambula, back to Gutierrez. Gwaltney for three, no good. Peterson with the board. Into the hands of Wooden. Wooden drives to her left, kicks it out. That is Seckler. Into the hands of Ledbetter for three, it's good! And the entire Metamora bench standing on their feet, cheering for Ledbetter. Tip right there from Seckler. Ledbetter gets it. Will she let it fly again? No good. Rebounded by Streator. Bringing up the ball is Huey. Picking it up into the corner. Near backcourt violation. They're just going to call it out of bounds. Either way, into the hands of Metamora, as Ella Jones will check in and Caitlin Hand for Metamora.
Yeah, Ava Gwaltney, number 11 for Streator. She's been doing pretty good shooting the ball for the Bulldogs, but when it comes to breaking the press, she's trying to just pass the ball before she really looks to actually dribble the ball. Sometimes in a zone press, you can actually look to dribble the ball and have success. She's just trying to pass the ball immediately. She's not looking to dribble. And that last turnover, or that last near turnover she had, could have easily just been dribbled, but something that Streator can work on too.
I think the biggest part of basketball, perhaps not the biggest, but one of the most important skills right there is Ledbetter with a beautiful dime to Jones for 2. But I think one of the most important skills in basketball is to be able to slow yourself down. I don't think Streeter's done a great job of that.
There she goes.
Good take from Gwaltney, no good. Rebounded by Jones, tipped to Ledbetter. But I think you talked about it. They rush themselves a little bit. They think they have a lot less time than they actually do, but a lot of that credit goes to the pressure that Metamora is putting on them.
Yeah, basketball IQ too as well. I mean, you're taught one thing about, hey, like it's a zone press, you don't have to dribble, and sometimes you don't have to dribble, and sometimes that works, but sometimes, like, if you slow yourself down, like you said, Sky, and just look to dribble, that's a nice steal there.
Really good steal right there. Arambula goes up, no good, draws the foul, and they'll head to the free throw line. That's something I wanted to see a little bit more for the Bulldogs, but defense leading to offense. That's typically how the game of basketball works, and it's working out right there in the favor of the Lady Bulldogs as Audrey Arambula is at the line.
First free throws of the ball game for Streator.
Arambula, the junior, another returning piece for next year's Streator Bulldogs team. Goes 1 for 2 at the line. And Ledbetter will give it out to Hand, who's probably not used to catching the ball that far out on the court as bodies collide. And it'll get Hand to the Gwaltney. 1 second left, she'll put it up. No good. Metamora continues to control this game 53-20. We're going to take a quick break and bring you back the action here on Clark Sports Media for the 4th.
The Pass Pub and Grill is your ticket to great food, drinks, and unforgettable memories. Try one of our award-winning salads or take a bite of our delicious wings. Then wash it down with one of our bartenders' signature cocktails. Plus, play the hottest, up-to-date games with ME Gaming and win big. ME Gaming, the premier provider of video gaming. Come get your ticket to a good time, only at the Pass.
When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way.
Fourth quarter action coming your way here. 53-20, Metamora leads the Lady Bulldogs in their own regional. They're playing basketball just the way they hoped, and they're 8 minutes away from advancing, Michael.
Yeah, the Streator is now really just 8 minutes away from their season being over, most likely. They're looking to just build for the future. Losing a lot of players, or losing key players to graduation, but looking to just keep improving.
Wooden no good on the layup. It looks like we have an injured Bulldog. That's going to be Arambula. We're going to call an official's timeout as she gets tended to. Looks like she got hit in the eye.
Bulldog substitution number 3.
Hope she's okay. 55-20 here.
I think Adelaide Mahan is checking in for Streator. Nina scored once again for Metamora right before that whistle was blown, and she's been having a really good ball game as well. Her and Sel have had fantastic games.
Another really strong screen from Thomas. She's playing her role really well. She hasn't been a big scorer today, but she's playing tough, and that's what this Bulldogs team has needed today, a little bit more toughness. As Gwaltney puts it up for 3, nearly banks it in, rebounded by Sel. Sel pushing. Will slow things down into the hands of Leah Coster, the sophomore. Sel being a little unselfish, would have probably shot that three in the first half. Instead, we'll get a three-pointer by Hand. That's going to be tipped off the hands of the Bulldogs. It's going to stick with Metamora.
And with a running clock here, you have to assume that maybe Streator has waved a little bit of a white flag. I mean, who knows? 35 points is not an insurmountable deficit with a little bit under 7 minutes to go, but it looks like just how Metamora is playing versus how their Streator's playing. It looks like Streator's waving a little bit of the white flag here.
Coster dribbling to her left, using a screen from Nina, goes up with a floater, no good. Sell with another offensive rebound. She's had a few of those today.
I feel like every Redbird has had a little bit of a success rate on the offensive glass.
Good steal right there from Gutierrez, but Nina steals the ball back. A jump ball will remain in the favor of Metamora, as we have a hockey line change for Metamora. Checking in Avery Potter, the 5'9" junior. Number 31, Avery Dries. 6' sophomore. Number 3, Ella Seckler. Who else do we got? We got number 23, who's not on my roster. And then Abby Peterson in the game as well. So once I figure out who number 23 is, I'll let you know, as Gwaltney hits a 3. And
That 3-point shot broke Streator's
well, there you go.
by number 11,
Ava Gwaltney breaks the 3-point record for Streator right there.
You just knew it was going to happen at some point, and she's a fantastic basketball player, a great shooter, and obviously this is probably going to be her last game in Streator. Senior that's going to be missed in Streator.
Want to know what I'm glad to see, Michael, is that, you know, you're down in this game. This game hasn't been easy. This is going to be the last game of your high school career, and she's still out there smiling. I mean, she's giving it her all. There's no doubt about it.
Props to Metamora as well for stopping the game for just a second to recognize that, because obviously, Sky, like we said, a senior regional semifinal game that they're down, and there's a really good chance they're not going to come back and win this game. This is probably going to be her last game in Streator, yet they stopped the game to give her some recognition. So good for her. Good for the Streator program to find a positive out of this game, because obviously, if you looked at the scoreboard, it's not looking like there can be any positives for Streator, but really just going forward, something to keep your eye on is just how young the Streator team is and see how they can go forward.
Gwaltney with the ball, perhaps trying to get a couple more 3-pointers to fall before the end of the game. Huey will go to the line right here, and another trip to the free throw line. And with a running clock, however, that's probably not what you want to see if you're a Streator. Usually you're excited to get to the free throw line in a game you have a deficit, so where you can stop the clock, but no such thing as that right now.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously the game's not over, and the game's not over obviously until it hits the double zeros, and I'm sure Streator knows that they don't have a good chance to pull off the upset in this ball game so far now, but really they're just going to take the last 4 minutes of this ball game and really just soak it all in, the fact that they're playing a playoff basketball game, and hope to see some positives, because right now Eric Walney just wants to see some positives out of this team with 4 minutes to go.
They say iron sharpens iron, and this Metamora team, very good, very strong team, and I think playing strong competition like this will only make Streator better. I know they're going to have to wait quite a while to get back on the court, but I think this team can be a lot better next year. I know they're losing their best player in Gwaltney, but they are returning a lot of youth and a lot of experience. And Gutierrez gets the offensive rebound, putting it up, getting a friendly roll is... I don't have a number 2 on my roster, do you?
I do not.
Perfect. Great basket right there from a bench player for Streator.
I'm assuming that might be Adelaide Mahan, but I thought we saw
After
her
further,
in the game.
That is Bella Robart, actually, Robert. Good left hand right there from Caitlin Hand.
Yeah, you know what they say about culture? It's built in the offseason, so Streator's going to get better. It's going to be started in the offseason. They got to get girls in the gym. They got to get girls excited to play for the Streator Bulldog basketball team, and obviously it's going to be hard right now because obviously when you win basketball games, that's how you get the girls excited. And Streator has had a whole lot of wins in the past few years, but culture, like we said, it gets started in the off season, and they want to get to where they want to be. It's going to be starting the off season with the girls.
Great defense right there, but it's blocked out of bounds. Ball will remain with the Redbirds. Into the hands and tipped by Gwaltney. Gwaltney looking to score a little bit more and will draw a foul and head to the line. 2 minutes left, and sometimes in situations like this, the coaches will talk and kind of look at each other and say, okay, we can stop the clock here, but this time the clock's going to continue running.
I like the play of Gwaltney, though. I think with Ava, I think she probably had it on her mind eventually that she was going to get this record that she got for Streator, and yet she gets it, and yet she doesn't stop playing hard. I think it's a good example for the younger girls and the girls that are coming back for the Streator Bulldog team to say, hey, maybe we're 3-28. Maybe we'll continue to lose some more in the next couple years before we get better. But yeah, I'm not going to stop playing, and neither should you.
Hand with the ball, dishes it out to the corner. Shot's no good, rebounded by Huey. Could have been another jump ball, but instead a foul as Thomas and Huey will smile and high-five one another and get a few more subs checking in for Metamora.
It's a good win by the Redbirds. We talked about Kamenensky, maybe a #1 seed in a regional, can play down to the competition, knowing a team like Streator might be struggling a little bit. But no, Metamora kept their foot on the gas from start to finish, and they earned this victory, just how they've earned all their victories so far this season.
So what's next for Metamora after this win, Michael?
They'll have a matchup with either Kankakee or Morris for their own regional title. It should be a very fun game. Kankakee and Morris are set to come up next. It's not going to be live streamed on Clutch Sports Media, but it will be played next here in Metamora. The winner, like I said, will play Metamora. Kankakee and Morris, they played each other once this season. Kankakee had blown a first quarter lead they had against Morris and blew the game against Morris. Kankakee the 4 seed, Morris the 5 seed. It should be a fun one.
Gwaltney with her last shot of her high school career. Metamora gets the rebound, putting it up the prayer. No good right there from Ella Jones. 57-27. Metamora does it. They advance to their own regionals championship game against the winner of Kankakee versus Morris. Metamora moves to 23-8 on the season. What a game, Michael. They played their hearts out.
Yeah, this is a good win for Metamora. It doesn't matter if you're playing a team with 3 wins or you're playing a team that has 30 wins. It doesn't make any difference. A win is a win, and Metamora took care of business. They beat the team they were supposed to beat by 30, and they're going to be a tough out come the postseason. This is a regional seeding wise for them to lose, so it should be a fun ride for Metamora going forward.
Really glad you guys could tune into this broadcast, and be sure to tune into our broadcast later this week, Thursday. Regional action between Dunlap and Washington. That'll be at 6 p.m. And then Friday, Metamora versus the winner of Kankakee and Morris. Be sure to tune in on ciproud.com. My name's Sky Gillespie, joined by Michael Savoy here, and Metamora advances. They down the Streator Lady Bulldogs. Thanks for tuning in.
When you're training, missing a day isn't an option. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we feel the same, and that's why we review our pricing every day to make sure our customers know they're getting a great deal. Check out our inventory at bobgrimmchevrolet.com today. That's the Bob Grimm way.
What sets Snyder Village apart from other retirement living options? With a campus of over 40 acres, Snyder Village is a life plan community, offering several levels of care at one convenient location. From independent living to assisted living to skilled nursing, you're sure to find what you're looking for. Snyder Village is a faith-based community, providing for the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of others. As a nonprofit organization, Snyder Village offers a local touch. Come see why people call Snyder Village home. Visit snydervillage.com.